All right, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Tony Dovale from Life Masters and I'm here representing Black Card Books. And today we have a free session for you to teach you how to use a book to create a platform, to boost business, to enhance your marketing, and to reposition you. So you're all okay so that we can get going? Cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing your friends. And my goal today is to be able to share with you the wisdom and just give you a little bit of a preview what we're able to do to help you to leverage your knowledge, skill, wisdom, and ability into a book beyond just publishing a book but creating a platform. So let's lock and load. So how many of you today think I'm going to try and sell you something? Well, I promise not to disappoint you, but can we make a deal? I'm happy to make a very fair deal that can I give you really good content for 3/4 of the time, and at the very last little bit, I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can get involved, how we can help you and work with you and collaborate with you and guide you through the maze and the challenges to leverage and accelerate getting your book out there into the world. Are we good with that? Cool. Let's go. The boot camp that we're going to be holding, the Instant Author Boot Camp, is going to be in 2 weeks' time, but I'll tell you about that at the end of the session. So just keep in mind whether you have availability or not for that process. We run these things 3 to 4 times a year regularly in each country, in each city around the world. But for this month, we have one coming at the end of the month for you. So really happy that you could be here with us. So why is a book so effective? What makes a book so powerful as a tool to leverage you, to create visibility? You see, the benefit of a book is it's an advert without looking like an advert. It helps you to start building trust, credibility, and visibility way before you even begin to get to a client. Take 47. So a book helps you to start building trust way before you even get to see the prospect or the client. It allows you to be positioned automatically as an instant expert ahead of the pack of the norm of the people that are out there. You see, it creates a platform of trust for anybody, whether you're an author, a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a banker, a coach, a speaker, a salesperson. It creates that platform that you can climb ahead very, very quickly. You can do in a year what takes many people half of their lifetime to try and achieve. It has a high perceived value. When you give somebody a book, it has a perceptive value. It's beyond just the value of a single piece of paper. It allows you to connect with the prospect and show them that you have value, and it brings them into you versus, I'd like to sell you some insurance. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. Goodbye. So this lady, she wrote the book Happy Kids. She was placing an advert in the newspaper for about $1,500 a week, and she got typically about 15 calls per week. The moment she put a book up and gave it away free for attendees, her calls went from 15 to 500 for the same ad expense. That's an incredible boost in performance and receptivity in the minds of your people. She gave this book away free, and that's the only difference between her initial advertising and the follow-up after the process. And you can just imagine what that did for her in her sales and profitability. It gives you instant differentiation from the masses. You stand out. You're automatically, like a doctor with a white coat, you're an author. How many people do you think they've met that's an author in their last week? Very, very few. It makes you that instant authority on the subject. And you don't have to be the expert. You can interview the experts. You can research the experts, package, present, and promote that there. Few people ever throw a book away. Have a look at yourself. How often do you throw books away? People don't. There's a perceived value and benefit beyond a thin sliver of a leaflet that you have in the world. It helps you get speaking, and I can tell you from my own speaking, my speaking fees doubled. And I've got more speaking because of, I'm an author. It's, really? And so that allows me to step up beyond the norm that is out there. If you're a salesperson or in marketing, it helps you close more sales. It helps you become that credible expert author that has value. And in the mind of that person, it's much easier to get to a yes than usually. It opens doors. Think about it. If you wanted to speak to the top CEOs in your city, can you just pick up a phone and say, hi, can I come and get an appointment? It's highly unlikely. Take 78. This woman, Claire Mann, used a book to get 28 appointments with CEOs in 30 days. Imagine if you could do that. So turn to the person next to you and say, I can do this. Give them a high five and say, I can do this. 1, 2, 3, go. So the benefit that we bring to the party as Black Card Books is in excess of 25 years of wisdom, knowledge, skill and ability. And so the whole system is about turning the normal publishing system upside down on its head. And it's about you publishing the book yourself. You write it, you get it laid out, take it to a local printer, you self-publish the book. Don't even think of trying to go to a normal traditional publisher. It's like taking a lottery. Do you think you've got a good chance of winning the lottery? It's exactly the same with the normal publisher. They probably reject 3,000 to 5,000 books for each one that they accept. That's not a good chance of success. Whereas our system that we work with, that we'll step you through, will work for everybody every single time if you take the action steps. See, the big money isn't in selling a book where you make 10, 20, 30 rand. The big money is in the business around the book. Selling your business, creating more prospects, improving marketing, closing bigger deals, getting speaking engagements. So it's more than the book. It's the business around the book where you get the big money. And so there's an author, J. Conrad Levinson, who wrote the book Guerrilla Marketing. And somebody asked him, how much did you make from your first book? And he gave the answer of $10 million. Sounds like a good number. So he said, but the book only paid me $35,000 in sales royalties. But the speaking, spin-offs, newsletters, boot camps, consulting, and open doors gave me the other 9.97 million. It's not in the selling of the book, it's the business around the book. Now, would you be interested if I could show you a way that you could get your own book self-published and you can get others to pay for your book? Would that be of interest to you? Give me a show of hands. Yes? Cool. So let me show you how easy it is. Just look at this book. Just look at the size of this book. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to change the world. Anything between 100 and 110 pages. Could you do that? 10 chapters of 10 pages? To print this book is less than 10 rand. You heard me right. Less than 10 rand. If you print 2,000 books, that's your cost. It's cheaper than most brochures. So imagine this. If you invested in a nice cover, gets a professional layout, you did some editing, got somebody to edit your work, and you printed 2,000 copies, your cost is about 30,000 rand. But you have an asset worth 400,000 rand. This is the best financial asset you can ever create leverage with. Have you ever thought of this? That if you never taken action on it, we're here to help you understand how you can take that action. Here's the one problem. You need to make me a promise. The moment you start to make the big bucks, please don't let it go to your head. Watch this video. Wow. It is a wow, hey? So, the chance of you becoming successful with a book is much greater than the system you're trying to use now. But let me tell you a bit about my story. My story, take 89. So let me tell you a bit about my story. I knew that a book was vital. It's a business card on steroids. But in my head, it was just too big. It was too far, too big, too complex for me. And so I sang the song to people, to my friends, to my people that I coached, to my business clients. You need a book, you need a book. And I'm sad to say, some of my coaching clients have done 6 books before I've done 1. But I came across this guy that was sharing his wisdom and a wealth of knowledge. And I thought, that guy is what I need to be the front edge of the wedge to help me get through, to take my action. I knew what to do, I just didn't do what I knew. And so I was doing team building and talks and coaching, but I was struggling to compete with the rest of the people out there. cutting costs, not getting the business deals, quoting and not succeeding. The day I made the decision and the commitment to take the action with Black Card Books, I can tell you it's been the best day of my life. When I speak now, when I put down my proposals for talking, my charges tripled from 7 or 8,000 to 25,000, and I had 2 of those last week. My best day in income is 120,000 Rand for one day. My best transaction for 3 months of business is 1.2 million Rand. Because I am perceived and seen as an expert and an author, internationally published author, my credibility is enhanced, my visibility is enhanced, doors open a whole lot easier, and when I say this is how it is, I'm much more believable. But let me tell you a bit about the guy that's done this whole system, Jerry Robert. He started a life in poverty. He needed help from the government just to have a home and food. But around 24, he got tired and frustrated, and he took action, and he wrote a book, and he got himself a mentor. And the mentor basically said to him, number one, it is crazy if you are earning in a year what you could be earning in a month. And so Jerry started to kind of fight against the wisdom and the knowledge of the mentor, and the mentor let him go, and at the end of the conversation he said, "You are a jerk." Shocking statement. But the mentor understood that this guy had a paradigm that was running him, his habits, his old belief systems. And he said, "You are a jerk if you won't stop long enough to think, to bump up the edge of your belief systems and make a shift. Because if you're going to get something new, you have to do something new." And so from that day onwards, Jerry started to follow the wisdom of his mentor. And that's what I want to share with you, is we giving you some of that wisdom here free. And we'd love to share more of that with you if you're ready. And so Jerry went on from earning 100,000 Rand in $100,000 in a year to earning $1 million in a year within 1 year. That's a huge increase. And for most of us, it's going to challenge our belief systems. But Jerry did this. And do you know what? Even bigger, he's gone on to do that in a weekend. I've been there with him. In his 25 years of publishing, Jerry's done more than $100 million through his and his partner's bank accounts. $100 million. That's serious money. And right now, with the way Black Card Books is growing, they're on target in the next 36 to 48 months to do 100 million a year. Would you like to be connected to that train, on that path of success and wealth and well-being? When Jerry was now recently in Amsterdam, in Amsterdam people, they're very forthright. And the guy says to him, "So if you're making all this money, why are you here? Why aren't you at home retired?" And Jerry said, "Watch this video, because if I did retire, this is what I might do." And so here's proof. I want you to see on the screen. Here is absolute proof. Every one of those on the screen was just like you in a room like this, at a talk like this. Every one of these people sat there and made a shift, made a change, thought about it, and then took new actions. I'm sure every one of those people thought, "No, it's too much for me." But they stuck with it. And they managed their mindset, they made a decision, and they took the action. See, we don't appeal to writer types, the academic writers. We appeal to entrepreneurs and business people and salespeople who understand the power of marketing with a book to create a platform that elevates and sets them apart from the masses. We understand that a book can take an entrepreneur from being average Joe to somebody who can leverage it and improve their marketing and visibility and exposure and can boost their income. Isn't that something that you might like to do? Now, if these people can do it, and we've got another 100 pages of people just like this, If they can do it, why don't you decide to do it? So turn to the person next to you and give them a high five and say, you can do it. Cool. So let me ask you this question. Who's been thinking of writing a book? Put your hands up if you've been thinking of writing a book. Keep your hand up if you've been thinking of writing a book for more than 1 year. Okay. More than 5 years. Wow. Keep your hand up if you've been thinking of writing a book more than 10 years. Wow. Man, are you sure your hands aren't stuck? So what's been stopping you? Because we know what to do. You haven't done what you knew. What is it? What do you think stops you? Yes, what do you think, sir? Fear, uncertainty, lack of clarity, not an expert. These are all valid reasons, but they're an excuse when there's a system available that will take you from uncertain to action and expert. Wouldn't you agree? So let me show you what, if you come to our boot camp, what's going to happen to your mindset and your action. Take 91. So with all of Jerry's 25 years of wisdom and expertise, this is what's going to happen to you. Because the thing that's blocking you is the cat on the left, and how you will become after our boot camp is in the cat on the right. Just watch this one. And so would you be excited to know that this is within grasp? It's in your hands. It's in the closer range than you truly understand. But here's the problem. You see, this is what everything that men know about women in Johannesburg. Thousands of pages, and every one of them is blank. Because you think that you've got to write a world-changing, earth-shattering, industry-revolutioning, a book that is personality-altering, history-making, incomprehensibly complicated work of art, a book that's totally original and never before heard of content, massively sized, masterfully written, in perfect English, one of a kind, without one single spelling mistake. And that's not true. And we can help you get through that limiting belief system. And so what I'm prepared to do and going to do today is I'm going to open the door to you of creating a vision and a future that may have been blocked for you before. But I promise you I won't do it like this guy's going to do it. And so let's get into it. Let's show you and share the wisdom of our 8 steps of publishing that you can ensure success in your business and in your life. You see, the number one step that you need to look at is, what is your primary objective? This guy, his primary objective, this doctor, was to get visibility and media exposure. And just look at the volume of TV and media that is got for him. And through that, his business has exploded. So what is your primary objective? What is the main one thing, the core thing that you want this book to do for you? Differentiation, positioning, credibility, leads, speaking, coaching. Who would like to be speakers here? Show of hands. Who would like to be coaches here? If you're going to be successful today, you need a book as your platform. And see, the primary objective is vital. And on one of the workshops, a guy came to Jerry and he said, Jerry, I got this book of poems. And if you know Jerry, he's not a poem kind of guy. And he said, but these poems are good. You know, these will teach men to connect with their boys. And Jerry asked him, what is the main thing you want the book to do for you? What is the PO, the primary objective? And the guy said, well, I want to get media exposure, because when I'm on the radio or the TV, the people will hear my message to come to my workshops. And if they come to my workshops, I will transform their relationships with their boys, guaranteed. Now, isn't that a good primary objective, to get people to come on the workshops? And so Jerry said to him, rather write a book around what your content is and the message that is important. And then you can take the poetry and package it differently. But you will never get publicity And visibility, writing a book of poems. You're never going to hear on the radio about a DJ, and coming up next we have a book on poems. And so you need to make sure you write the appropriate content. It might be a great message and intention, but you must understand the primary objective that you want the book to do for you, not your customers. Do you understand? You clear with that? Cool. Step 2 is write the right content. We need to engineer the book that's going to achieve your primary objective. So have a look at this little book. How thick is this book? We're only recommending that you do 100 pages, 110 pages. This student, primary objective, because he was an accountant, was to speak on humor. And so he took all of the emails that you find on the internet, he filtered out for the best ones, and he published a book. He now goes around speaking after dinner, and he makes almost as much from his speaking as he does from his full day job. And let me share with you one of the jokes that he's got here. His little boy Johnny finds a pack of Viagra one day, and he goes to his dad and says, Dad, look what I found. Don't you want to buy it for $100? His father said, no, Johnny, I'm in good condition. I don't need it, but maybe your granddad might have use for it. And so he goes to his granddad and says, Granddad, I found this Viagra, and I'm happy to sell it to you for $100. And his grandfather said, whoa, I'm happy to give you a deal, but I need to make sure it's going to work on me first. So I'll take it, and if it works, I'll give you the $100 tomorrow. And so off he goes, and the next day, Grandpa arrives with a big smile, and he gives him $500. And little Johnny says, but Grandpa, we agreed on 100. He says, my son, the 100 is from me. The extra 400 is from your granny. You see, these are just jokes that were simply put together and assembled. And this guy now has positioned and packaged himself that he can be out there as a speaker. So many people are concerned that they are not an expert. Then move and become a reporter of the experts. This young guy, David Chua, he came to Jerry. He wanted to write a book. He understood the power of a book for marketing and positioning. And he said to Jerry, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a PhD. I'm not a multimillionaire. So Jerry said to him, why don't you interview the multimillionaires and report on the perspectives, beliefs, values, and behaviors, and then turn that research into a book. And that's exactly what Napoleon Hill did. He was a broke reporter when he wrote it, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich, that's changed millions of lives. He was a reporter that packaged and promoted, same as you can do. Step number 3 is you must package professionally. Your book cover is vital, that in those seconds that somebody sees it, they're impressed. It has a message. And there are so many ways that you can mess this up, but we guide you and show you on the bootcamp exactly what you need to do. And the reason that you need to have this awesome cover is because the people will see your cover long before they see you. Look at these. Have a look at any of these. They stand out for you. Perfect, amazing, and awesome. For example, on one of the sessions in Singapore, an expert came up to Jerry and said, here's my book. Now tell me on a scale of 0 to 10, how amazing is that cover? How impressive is that cover? Does it grab your attention and make you excited? So Jerry said to him, so how's it working out for you? And he said, well, not so good. And so he joined Jerry's program, and this is what they did. Amazing after. And this positioned him and opened doors, and he boosted business incredibly with the right cover. And so we don't have time today to go over all of the elements, but we will do that during our boot camp. But you need to find ways to use a variety of things like humor in your cover and in your book, because humor sells. And so this is an example of what one lady, Dr. Terry Wurzbacher, did. Your doctor said what? And this got her onto Oprah with the right cover with the humor. No, that is not Jerry or one of us. That's just a posed picture there. So think about, how do you use humor? Have a watch this and see how you use humor and how humor is used in everyday advertising to grab your attention. Here's a powerful cover. And someone told me that this book would sell very, very well in your city. The challenge is, with your cover, don't ask dumb questions. And that reminds me of the joke about the guy goes to his wife and says, my love, my health is not good, but if I die, are you going to take on a new boyfriend? And she thought for a while, and she thought, well, I would eventually after a time of mourning. He says, okay. And he says, I really would like to know, but if I die and you take on a new boyfriend, are you going to live in the same house? And she thought for a while, and she said, no, we'd probably buy something because I have too many fond memories here. And he said, well, would he use my golf clubs? And she said, no, he can't, he's left-handed. And so be careful of the questions that you ask. Make sure that you're putting the right pictures in people's heads. And here's another example of using humor for advertising. And so step number 4 is vital for a business. Any business understands that the power is in the list. It's in your database. It's in your client base. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And so you've got to create a system that you can capture leads, and you can do this. You can have the system working before you've even written one word in your book. So here's an example. This woman's got a squeeze page. It's a one-page website with some bullet points and some benefits, a lovely picture of her cover, a little video, and a place where you can start to capture information. And she's got thousands of leads before she's even written her book that she can now market and promote and upsell into her system. Just watch her video here and have a look there on the right. She's giving away a free copy of her book as part of the incentive to get people. And this is the kind of thing we teach in the seminar, is how to build and grow your list. Step 5, take 101. And step 5 is you can use this book to boost your sales. You can get a ton of more sales because it's a tool that differentiates you from the rest of the masses. How many salespeople do you think have sent a book to one of their prospects before they try to get hold of them? Because just think about this. In today's times with the internet and digital technology, aren't people more skeptical? Isn't trust much more important than credibility? Do you think people are more open or more skeptical nowadays? Do you think people are trusting of advertising and marketing? Or do they trust the word of mouth? Are people more informed or less informed today? Consumers today are much smarter, they have a different attitude, and you need to be able to find innovative and new ways to get in underneath their blocking system, their BS filter system, with something that positions you as credible, powerful, and as an expert. You see, the challenge that most people have is they're using the same tools as everybody else. Look at this lady, she's an estate agent. So all of these cards are estate agents trying to find some way to stand out. So she just made her card a different size, but that brings its own problems. Imagine if this was your business card. A book is a card on steroids. A book says here, I am different, I am powerful, I'm an expert, I am professional. This is one of our ladies, Mary Beth Haynes. She was a simple customer service rep, and she wanted to write a book on the power of pets. And she used her upcoming book to interview high-powered people. She made 89 calls, and she got 82 interviews for content for her book. And she also did something that I'm going to teach you a little bit later. Now she got some of those people to pay for her book. And you'll be astounded how easy it is to open a door when you phone somebody up and say, I'd like to interview for possible inclusion in my book. My publisher suggested I get expertise as part of the foundation. This lady, Anita Jackson, was doing a book launch in London. And so she phoned Jerry and she invited him along. And Jerry jokingly said, sure, I'll come if the Queen comes, because he's obviously a very busy fellow. And so Anita must have believed him. And so she sent a copy of her book with a covering letter to the Queen. And lo and behold, the Queen responded with a letter back. Now, royalty can't endorse your book, but this is not far from a really powerful endorsement. And look at the last line. The Queen was interested to read about the reason behind the writing of your book and thought it kind of you to send her a copy. So, nevertheless, needless to say, the Queen didn't arrive, nor did Jerry. But that's a powerful word of endorsement, close to endorsement. She's got interviews on radio, on TV, on the BBC that would cost thousands because of her book. Imagine if you took your book and on the front page you wrote, "My mentor told me that I should give my book to the 100 most powerful, positive, influential people in the city. And I hear that you are one of them. Enjoy my book." How do you think that'll position you in the mindset of your prospect? How many people do you think they've received in the last year that have given them a book autographed by the author? A book opens doors like crazy. Step 6 is it gets you free publicity locally and internationally. And when you come to the workshop, we show you how you can get international visibility with your book. Turn to somebody and give them a high five and say, "I like free publicity." Because when you're published and are given media exposure internationally, it positions you as an international expert and author. Remember this guy, this David Chewith we spoke about earlier? He's received amazing visibility even though his book is not even out yet. Think about that. This lady, she's a financial consultant. She wrote a small book, less than 100 pages. And look at all the visibility she's achieved before her book's even done. Don't tell me you can't do that. This lady's a retired school teacher. She was retiring to become a coach. And Jerry saw that Time magazine was doing an article. And he sent her media kit through. And from that media kit, she got front page of Time magazine. What do you think that did to her business? Before she even completed her book. Mary Beth, a full page advert from her book. See, that's the power of working with somebody like Jerry and their entire team. That'll shift you from where you are to where you want to be with the power of a book. This young man, Alex Wu, brand new author. He's a youngster. Visibility. Tons of free publicity using his book. And he loves to say, check, his picture is 4 times bigger of him than of the Malaysian Prime Minister. And again, in June, visibility, publicity comes. It's part of being an author and having the book. Turn to the guy on the left and say, "I can do this." Turn to the guy on the right and say, "You can do this." A book gets you visibility and publicity. Step number 7. How would you like it if I can show you a way to get other people to pay for your book? All of the costs of your book. If you're interested, say, "I'm ready." Cool, I'm ready. So let's show you. This is one of the most powerful ways that Jerry has brought for us to create a platform for partnership, promotion, and marketing. To get other people to pay for your publishing, your editing, the printing, and the packaging of your book. See, this lady, she wrote a book. She didn't even have the book done yet. She was writing a book. But she had an order form that comes with part of the process with being part of the Black Card Books team. She went to a network marketing meeting, and because she was an author, they put up on the stage and she was able to talk about her book briefly. And she had an order form on each of the 800 seats. And she made a special offer, and 171 of those 800 people signed and ordered her book. She made $5,100 before she even had written her book. You see, we teach you at least 5 to 6 different ways that you can generate revenue from your book. And one of them is selling adverts in the back of your book. So you find companies that don't compete with you that would like to talk to your target market. You don't need thousands, you need 10 that'll put down the money and fund the process of the whole book. And this is what Joe Turner did. She brought in over $45,000. And have a look here. These are the adverts that she's got in the back of her book. As another idea, you could sell a whole bonus chapter in the back of your book. This lady, Jean and Dovale, went along to a firm of attorneys and she sold them a chapter. And Jerry suggested she sell it at $10,000. She came back, she said, I haven't been able to get 10,000, but I got 7,500. She sold the privilege of that chapter of powerful content for $7,500. You could do that. The challenge is, as you sit here today, you need to decide. Wealthy people decide quickly and rarely, if ever, change their minds slowly. Broke people decide slowly and change their minds often. Which one are you deciding to become today? So to support you, you can go to the following web address, downloadmyslides.com, and download the 8 Steps PPTX, so you can go over this and you can have a look at it and reinforce it in your mind, because this is a preview of the real thing that we're looking to show you. Take 127. All right, so I'm sure you'll agree I've given you some really good ideas and insights today. But will you now allow me to tell you about the boot camp, where you can learn all of the secrets and all of the wisdom in one power-packed weekend? Are you good with that? Cool, thank you. So I'd like you to take out your order form. I'd like you to take out your sign-up sheet. And you'll see that the next date of our boot camp is the 27th, 28th, and 29th of this coming month. It'll be held at Caesar's Palace, a beautiful venue. And we will then share with you over 2.5 days everything that you need to be able to, on your own, go and completely self-publish, fund, promote, move, market, package, and succeed with your own book. So let me tell you about the 5 sections that we share on the weekend. It's a power-packed seminar. It's 25 years of wisdom put down into those 2.5 days. But I'd like to, just before we go, there are some people here that have been through that process, and I'd love them to share with you how they enjoyed it and the benefit that they've got from it so far. So are you happy to hear from them? Stand by a moment. Right, we're going to have Tony will come and share with you how he's basically been able to double his business from that process. So let's talk about the 5 parts of that weekend that we're going to cover for you. The first session is planning it, getting the right book. Most people are unsure of what they should be writing about. They're not sure if they're qualified, and our plan and process will show you the fastest path to the quickest, biggest cash. And that's on Friday night from 7 to 10 p.m. The Saturday morning is the Write It. We will teach you an amazing and incredible system on how to write a book in 40 hours. Jerry's bought the worldwide rights. It's been tweaked and tuned and improved. But yes, as hard as it is to believe, you will write the bulk of your book in 40 hours. And we give you that whole process on how to do that. It'll blow your mind. The second part of Saturday is fund it. How to fund it. How to make the big money before you even publish. And that gives you the fuel and the energy to be able to drive and fund this whole process system. And it works like magic. It's a simple step-by-step system that anybody can follow. You see, watch this little guy. Ranford from Singapore is a 22-year-old guy in the military. Listen to what he has to say. Now don't tell me if the 22-year-old can do it, you can tell me that you can find a way to do it. Yes? Cool. So the rest of Saturday, we talk about publish it. We cover all the technical stuff, all the issues from printing, plagiarism, all the technical stuff that you need to know about self-publishing. Copyright, ISBN, pricing, getting onto Amazon, and those kind of things. Another important part of the process is who endorses you and how to get powerful endorsements in your book. And when Jerry was 24 and his first book, he got endorsements from these powerful people that were leaders of the time. and he shares with you exactly the word for word process on how you can do similar with our leaders of our time. Would that be good for you? Cool. The rest of Sunday, we start to talk about moving it, because getting a book and printing a book is the easy part. Getting rid of it is most people's challenges. And so we spent the entire day going over step-by-step campaigns and what you can do with it. And we shared the wisdom from Jack Canfield. You know Chicken Soup for the Soul guys, the 500 million books that they've sold? We share you the wisdom that says 10% of the process is content and 90% is marketing. And so that's what we're going to help you, is to create a marketing platform for greater success in your life. So when you come along, we have 2 bonuses that we're going to give to you. The first one is we're going to give you a professionally designed cover. Yes, I know it's worth a lot of money. We're going to give you a professionally designed cover that you can begin to use to go out into the world and to start generating income first, to start. And the second is we're going to give you the whole weekend, a home study course that was recorded in South Africa. We're going to give it to you online that you can start to learn straight away. And you can recover and relearn and go over everything, because we cover such a lot in the weekend. We'll have that availability for you. Take 127. And of course we have a satisfaction money back guarantee. And so like we said, we're going to give you a cover, which if you did normal cover design through commercial people would be between $1,000 and $2,000. But we're going to give it to you for free. We're going to give you the home study course, filmed live in South Africa, and so you can start preparing for the bootcamp tomorrow. And of course we provide a 100% money back guarantee. So just think of this. If we were to sell this in the open market, the bootcamp, basically about 9,500, 10,000 rand worth of value in the weekend. A design, a book cover design, at least 5,000 rand. The home study course, available forever, at least about 8,000 rand. So that's about 22,000 rands worth of value. We're prepared to give it to you for just 4,500 rand for the weekend. But let me ask you this. If I was offering this free, who would take it? Hands up. If this is going free, who would take it? Okay, yes, you. So, with the green shirt, I'll give it to you free. Who else wants it free? Yes, ma'am. You with a pink top, I'll give it to you free. And yes, you, Jerry, I'll give it to you free. Hold on a sec. Okay, so who wants it free? Okay, I'm happy to give you the content, the workshop content, free to everybody, but only if you sign up today. That makes the tuition part of this process zero, nada, nothing, zilch. But if you're going to do this, you need to follow my instructions exactly. So if you want it for free, say, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now I need to follow my instructions exactly, please. Turn around to somebody on the side of you, say, I'm getting it free, and give them a high five. Now listen carefully to my instructions, please. Step 1, take your form. Write across the price there, free. Step 3, fill in the form clearly with your name and information across the top. Make sure that we can read this, because if we can't read it, you're not getting this thing for free. So some people ask us, why are we doing this free? And it's a very good question. Number 1, we're doing it as a thank you to you for taking the time of being here. And the second thing is because with our work with Success Resources, we use this as a platform to find authors who are ready to partner with us. And we wanted to give you that chance. So you can't come free without filling in this form, okay? So here's what you're going to get. The free includes the weekend bootcamp and your 2 bonuses. Write the date in that section on the bottom right, the date of the weekend that you are coming. Because you might not be able to make this weekend, we are happy to extend this offer for 1 year, 12 months from today, that you can come to any one of those boot camps within 12 months from today at the special offer that we are making you here today. So now I want you just, if you want it free, follow me. Let's go to the back. Come with me. If you want it free, come with me if you want this free. Walk to the back, stand on a chair. Okay, stop. We're all ready to get this free, but somebody's asking me, so what's the catch? What's the deal? How can it be free? Show me the forms. If you want it free, cool. Shh, right, quiet. Shh. There are 2 small requirements that I have to make this a fair deal. It costs money. It costs us hundreds of thousands of rands to put on an event like this. Venue, sound, food, printing. So I need you to partner with me and make it a fair deal to help defray some of the material and venue costs. Is that fair? If you agree it's fair, say I agree. I agree. And we've got to cover printing, workbooks, headout, room, staff, venue. So I'm asking you to pay a small fee, not the 4,500 or the 22,000, of just 975 rand for everything that we're going to give you. The Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the manual, the food, the information, the home study, and the cover. Is that a fair deal? If it's fair, say, I agree. Write that now in the bottom right underneath where you crossed out the price. If you're happy that it's a fair deal, shout out, I agree. I agree. Here's the second part. Because I'm giving it to you at less than what it costs us, no whinging, no whining, no money back guarantee. Please cross that out on your form right now. Is it fair? Shout, I agree. There are no further extra costs or hidden fees. That's the deal. But here's one more surprise for you. I'm happy. Because you make the decision right now, you can bring one other friend, and if you bend my arm, 2 free. They can come to this event with you free as well. They just pay the costs for the venue and the materials to come along. How's that sound? Fair deal? Cool. If you're happy, write their name across the bottom, their name, their phone number, and their email. Make sure you write it clearly. Fill in your form now and hand it to everybody. Some people want to know, can they bring more than one? Yes, you can. Others want to know, what if they can't come to this weekend? You can come to another. Other people want to know, will it work for them? It works for everybody that comes to our event. This just covers the venue and the core materials. In fact, it doesn't cover all of our costs, but we're giving you the whole weekend, the whole boot camp, the workbook, plus the 2 bonuses. No other costs involved other than getting yourself there. If you're ready and you're excited to take this step with us, sign, fill in your form, keep on going, and we're excited to have you be with us to be part of the Instant Author Black Card Books Bootcamp. And thank you for the 4,000 people that signed to come along.